What happens when you make a game that's nothing but boss fights, your hero is a mechanical eagle, and you release it on the Sega Genesis? You get Alien Soldier, and we're gonna play it until we win. Alien Soldier is a side-scrolling run-and-gun type of game. You play as Epsilon Eagle, a genetically engineered creature that... well, there's a whole backstory, but my god is it long and unnecessary. Look, you don't really need to know any of this. The truth is that it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't explain why there are giant lobsters crawling on ceilings. You don't need to know any single bit of the story because, quite frankly, this game is so awesome it doesn't need one. Alien Soldier is nothing but hardcore boss battles from beginning to end. You don't need a story for that, do you? Let's cut the crap and get down to the business. This game is balls to the wall hard for a lot of reasons. Every fight is a boss fight, and they're not joking around. Each boss has a weakness and a pattern to figure out, but many of the bosses force you to rely on your platforming skills rather than your shooting skills. Getting health in this game is tricky. Each pre-boss stage has some health you can pick up, but for the most part, you're gonna have to rely on your melee attacks to hit enemy bullets to turn them into health. And yes, it is as hard as it sounds. You'll run out of weapon power very quickly and will be forced to use your alternate weapons quite a bit. The worst part is running out of the weapon that the boss is weak against and being forced to use your alternate weapons to take him down. Learning enemy patterns takes a lot of time and effort. Some enemies are pretty quick to figure out and make your way through, while others are so frustratingly difficult you'll run out of time before you can beat them. Oh yeah, there's a time limit. That's probably the worst part of this game. Sure, every boss is crazy hard to deal with, but that time limit forces you to use the most efficient weapon in each boss battle. Otherwise, you're boned. All is not lost though, because there are some things you can do to stay alive. First off, learn how to use the melee attack and learn it fast. The melee attack is practically the only way you can get health reliably in this game. When enemies shoot out bullets at you, use the melee attack and turn it into health. You're invulnerable when you teleport across the screen, so make sure you've mastered the distance of your teleport because invulnerability, in a game this hard, is vital to staying alive. Each weapon does specific things, and each enemy is weak against a specific weapon. While the laser cannon does massive amounts of damage, it's almost useless against the majority of bosses because they're not weak against it. You need to learn the mechanics of your character quickly, and once you do, avoiding damage will be a breeze. Alright, so there are a ton of bosses here, so we need to get started. Boss 1, Mechapede. This guy is simple if you know how to beat him. Simply jump up and walk on the ceiling. This will let you more easily avoid the centipede's attacks. Just keep blasting at him and teleporting around and you should be fine. Boss 2, Android. This guy is a huge cricket that'll jump and run around the stage. Your best option is to abuse the hell out of your teleport and get behind the guy and then wail away at him. Number 3, Shell Shogun. The samurai is a pain in the ass. He'll bounce around the screen and try to hit you with his sword. Your best option is to use the Lancer Force or Homing Force to hit him in the head. Whenever he swings his sword, make sure you teleport to the other side. Eventually, you should be able to take this bad boy down. Number 4 is Sniper Honey Viper. This thing is just plain weird. I have no idea what it is. There's only one way to beat him. Teleport behind him and shoot him in the ass. The only problem is that he shoots bees, which fire bullets. The only way to take him down is to wait until he slowly makes his way forward, then quickly teleport and do as much damage as possible. Teleport again before you get crushed, and repeat the process. Number 6, Madam Barber. This is a crab that crawls on the ceiling. I don't really understand why, but it's there anyway. The claws block almost any weapon, and if you stand directly underneath the Madam, you'll get beat by the claws. The best option here, use your homing force to hit the crab in the face. You'll have to avoid the mini crabs though. They don't do damage, but they will spin you above their heads, giving the madam plenty of time to turn you into crab food. Number 7 is a giant frog. This guy's annoying, but not impossible. The not so easy way to kill him is to stay on the floor and try to avoid his eggs and his attacks. The easy method is to cling to the ceiling and attack him with the homing force. The only problem with staying on the ceiling is that his headbutt attack, well, it'll hurt. You'll need to teleport away from him before you're crushed by the attack, otherwise you're as good as dead. If you're low on health, simply attack the egg's bullets, yeah, I just said attack egg's bullets, and with your melee attack to replenish your health. Boss number 8, the Flying Neo. The first time you face this guy, you might have problems, but just grab the homing force and everything will be okay. His first phase of attacks is pretty simple. He'll dive bomb you a lot. Just shoot the head and teleport past him enough to get his life down quickly. Once you do that though, he'll turn invisible. When it's invisible, a blue crosshair will fly over its head when he comes on screen. Just wail away at it with your homing force and it'll go down pretty easily. Boss 9, Z-Tiger, on the other hand, won't go down easily. This guy is insanely tough, especially if you don't have the homing force. He has 3 main attacks, an upward slash, a leaping slash, and a downward stab. Before he uses each attack, he has a brief tell. He'll duck before using the upward slash, he'll jump in the air to do the leaping slash, and he'll pause and face you before doing the downward slash. Like I said, if you don't have the homing force, you're screwed. You need to attack the center of his body, but his arms are able to block every single attack, other than the homing force. Keep shooting at him and teleport to the other side of the screen when he uses one of his attacks, and eventually you'll be able to take this bastard down. Boss 10 is a giant fish. This guy is so damn tough if you don't have the flame force, since he doesn't take a lot of damage otherwise. His pattern is very simple. He'll jump between platforms and try to take you down with him. While he's doing this, simply hover in the air and blast him with the flame force. Eventually, he'll stop and fire a ton of bullets at you, which is your chance to abuse the melee attack and regain some much needed health. Boss 11 is some windmill fish thing, I don't know. You'll need the Lancer or homing force to take this guy out. He'll spin around in a circle trying to blow you off the platforms, but just keep shooting him and eventually he'll try to run away. Chase after him and keep firing to take him down. It's tough, but eventually you'll figure out the pattern needed to avoid the lasers he shoots and the platforms you need to jump on. Boss 12 is Poly Lobster. This giant lobster will appear and throw the purple berry off a boat. The flame force is your best option since fire cooks lobsters and all. The only problem is you've got no range and will need to fire at him at point blank. This makes the fight significantly more difficult because not only will his attacks hurt you, they'll knock you into the water, causing more damage. You'll have to position the boat carefully here so you can teleport past his attacks. Once you're able to do that though, taking out this lobster is only a matter of cooking him to death. Boss 13, Bug Max. Ugh. Go to the right and shoot this thing's cocoon. Eventually it'll break out of its shell and transform into a moth. Attack it with your flame force and regenerate your health by killing the small maggots. Boss 14. I have no clue. I have no idea what the hell this thing is. It's a big brain eye thing. What, did the developers run out of ideas? Just teleport through this thing and attack him at will. He'll go down pretty easily. Before we go to boss 15, we should talk about the small stage leading up to the boss. There's going to be falling bricks throughout the whole level. Don't bother trying to get past them unharmed because, well, you'll be able to recover your health rather quickly against the next boss. Just keep jumping up. Now, boss 15 is a big stinging flower. This guy is laughably easy if you know what you're doing. At first, he'll seem tough because his attacks all hit for massive damage, but you're able to recover a lot of health when he throws off miniature rolling flowers at you. Simply melee attack these flowers to recover your health, and then attack him with your homing force, which you still have, right? Sometimes you'll get hit with his stinging barbs, which will continually drain your health. Getting hit with 3 or more of them is practically a death sentence. To get rid of them, simply teleport to the other side of the screen, and you'll be stinger free. Now, boss 16 is Mothra? This boss is stupid easy. Simply kneel down next to his head and wail away at it with your flame force. It'll die and get picked up by boss 17, a very large spider. This spider will, unfortunately, try to eat you. I know, it's a problem. A problem that can be solved by attacking it with your homing force. As you fight the spider, mini spiders will spawn trying to drag the dead moth down towards the bottom of the screen. You'll have to kill these guys if you want to have a chance of winning the fight. Once you've been brought down far enough, you should be able to switch to your flame force and quickly finish off the large spider boss. Boss 18, Epsilon 1. This boss is evil. Pure, simple, evil. It's a big flying mechanical bird that is, quite frankly, one of the hardest bosses in the game. All of its attacks do a whopping 200 points of damage, so you're, at best, going to be able to absorb 5 shots from this guy before you're toast. He has several attacks that you need to avoid. First is his basic bomb attack. This one is easy to avoid since there's a target position on the screen where it'll fire. Next is the laser cannon, a bit more difficult to avoid, but it still shows targets on the screen so you can avoid them, with enough use of the teleport, that is. Finally, his dive bomb attack will rip you to shreds. I'm not kidding, this attack is mean. He'll fly off the screen and dive bomb you on screen with a power bomb attack, which, if you manage to avoid, is followed up by several laser attacks from his mechanical feathers. It's a nasty move that takes either luck or skill or abuse of the teleport to avoid. How do you beat this guy? Use the Lancer Force and hit him in the face with it. Realistically, you'll only be able to hit him when he's doing the standard bomb attack. Otherwise, be patient and avoid his attacks. Boss 19, Destroyer Mark II. This guy could be a problem if you didn't know how to use your melee attack. Otherwise, he's a joke. Simply use your melee attack to knock his shields away, then fire away at his core. Done and done. Boss 20, Melon Bread. Use the Lancer Force. Kill it. Completely and utterly a joke of a boss. Boss 21, Valkyrie Force. Fuck this girl. Fuck her to hell. This boss has 5 parts to it, and if you die on any of the parts, you have to do the whole fight over again. Oh yeah, you're gonna die. A lot. Part 1 of this boss is the Valkyrie Force. It's a large robot that has 3 attacks, a kick, a launching fist, and a boomerang. All 3 of them are fairly easy to avoid with your teleport, and she'll go down without much of a fight with the homing force. Part 2, the Medusa Force, is pretty easy to get through. All you need to worry about is not getting run over. When you can, simply move behind Medusa and attack her. Otherwise, stay ahead of her and don't die. Part 3, the Sliffeed Force, can be pretty annoying if you don't have the homing force. She'll defend herself with her arms, making it impossible to hit her weak point with anything but the homing force. If you don't have the homing force, you'll just have to be patient and melee the bullets she fires out to regain health. Otherwise, keep abusing your homing force and take her down. Part 4, Artemis Force, isn't too bad once you understand the pattern. Let her jump towards you, then teleport behind it. Attack the tail until the cat does some backflips, forcing you to teleport to the other side. Keep this pattern of teleporting and attacking up, and eventually you'll move on to Part 5. Part 5, the Siren Force. This one isn't hard, just absurdly long. You'll have a little over 5 minutes to get through the boss, and with good reason. You'll spend a large amount of time just floating in a circle in the water, not able to attack each other. If you need health, just melee the landmines. Keep going in a circle and taking shots at the boss when you can, ideally with the Lancer Force. You'll have a lot of time to take this one down. Melee the landmines, attack the boss, and avoid her arms, and eventually you'll beat her. Boss 22, the Destroyer. This giant UFO has 3 basic attacks. 2 guns will shoot 2 lasers in straight directions, or they'll shoot lasers in every direction except the one they're pointed in. Or they'll shoot bullets everywhere. This guy isn't that tough. Melee the bullets into health and just wail away on him to move on to Boss 23, Spiky Worm. A total joke. Use the Flame Force to take it out in record time. Otherwise, use the Homing Force and avoid its various attacks, like throwing acid or its body segments at you. Catch the acid to restore your health, otherwise just wail away at this extremely weak opponent. Boss 24, Wolf Gunblood Garopa. Yeah, they actually named it that. This guy riding a horse is unfucking believable. He has a couple of attacks, but they're both easily avoided if you simply teleport to the other side of the screen before he's about to hit you. You'll know when he's ready to pull the trigger on his gun when it looks like a bunch of power is building up at the muzzle. It's hard to explain, but you'll see it. Teleport before he fires, and attack his head with the Flame Force when he's not firing. You'll need to pay attention to the screen throughout, though. Every once in a while, the level will throw some sort of obstacle at you, and you'll have to avoid it. When you see 3 exclamation marks on the bottom of the screen, it means an obstacle is coming your way. Follow the horseman's lead to avoid the obstacles. If he ducks down, get down, and if he stays up, fly to the top of the screen. Boss 25, Missile Launcher. This guy is really easy once you get the hang of the controls. You cannot hover in this level. Instead, you can control the height of the elevator. Simply aim down and fire at the center of the boss. avoid the missile explosions, and avoid the sections of boss when it teleports across the screen. Always remember to stay as far away from this boss as possible, since it makes it easier to avoid his attacks. Boss 26, the final battle, Z-Leo. This guy is a badass. Just look at him. He's half lion and half machine. Fuck yeah! He's also pretty tough. Your fingers will have to be in top shape to take this guy out. He has 3 main attacks: throwing a huge fireball at you, shooting his Mega Man-like cannon, and lifting the platform, throwing you into the air and firing ultra-powerful lasers at you. Oh, and he can't be hurt by the usual attacks. In short, this guy is no joke. Now, you can hurt this guy, but not with your weapons. Oh no, you have to deflect the fireballs he shoots at you with your melee attack to hurt him. Eventually, he'll get tired of that and fire his arm cannon at you. Make sure you teleport out of the way of this attack, otherwise you're as good as dead. Once that's over with, he'll lob your ass high into the air and fire lasers at you. You'll need to be at your platforming finest to avoid these lasers. Just teleport out of the way to stay alive. So once you have an opportunity, simply fire the fireballs back at him and avoid all of his other attacks. Repeat that process until Z-Leo is toast. You know, when you think about it, Alien Soldier really isn't that difficult. All the bosses all have their quirks that you can take advantage of. Some of them are weak against certain weapons, others have patterns that you can easily take advantage of. And I mean... Wait. There's a hard mode? Son of a bitch!